Oh, we've got a lot to talk about today.
Do we?
We have a lot to talk about today. What is one thing you've liked to say over the years? Well, there's many things, but we talked a little. So what's the thing you like to say about agents?
Every realtor should have to either sell their home or move or some portion of the process every couple of years. So we can't forget how much it sucks.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the most candid way of putting it. When you take the realtor, real estate agent, licensee hat off and start acting as a consumer, you start to realize with greater clarity just what it is that our clients go through. And to add to that, we're familiar with this. They're not.
Yeah.
They don't do this multiple times a week. They do this once every 10, 20 years, maybe once every 5 years. So
NAR says 7.
Sorry?
NAR says 7.
Yeah, people on average move about once every 7 years. So some people move every 3 years and some people move every 27 years. But
growing up, I moved every 7 months.
In college, I think I lived in 12 different places. Right? Between 18 and 30, I think I lived in about 25 different places.
My family must really love my mother because my cousins have moved my mother, like, with no movers 30 times. No, maybe 20. Maybe
what
20.
leverage does she have over them?
I haven't figured it out yet.
All right. So let me tell you what happened. All right.
Please.
So as you know, and a lot of people may not know, I have a son who attends a residential school up in the Catskills.
Right.
He has autism and he attends the Center for Discovery, which is probably the best school for kids on the spectrum on the planet. It's just an amazing, amazing place. And as happy as I am that he's there and getting what he needs, I miss him. It's my little boy, 16 years old. I miss him. So we go up there from time to time and get an Airbnb and we visit. So we 2 weeks ago stayed at this amazing Airbnb. You saw the pictures.
Yep.
Cabin on a lake, no motorboats. Do you hear that? No. What? Exactly. Yeah. You heard nothing. Okay. Beautiful, gorgeous setting. And we go for a walk and Allison sees all these signs, lot 6, lot 7, blah, blah, blah. So we ask our hosts, are they selling land here? And they say, yeah, they are. It was not on the MLS. I couldn't find anything. So we were told there's a company, a developer that bought the whole lake property, hundreds of acres, and subdivided it and sold off about 20 lots. And there were a couple left over. And it so happened that the lot next door to where we were staying is for sale. Ooh. So we call the company.
No broker. There's no broker?
They're not brokers. They own it and they sell their own property. So there's no broker involved. The seller is not a licensee. No brokerage has the listing. No brokers are involved, which is fine. If you can sell whatever. If you own it, you can sell it, right?
Right.
And we're dealing with a 22-year-old rep for the seller. And I don't know if he's like a son or a grandson or he's operating without a license. I don't know. And, I don't pretend to know how real estate works in the Catskills either, because I don't work in the Catskills. So for the past 2 weeks, I have had a taste of what it is the consumer goes through.
Yeah.
And you ever hear the phrase, comparison is the death of joy? I'm comparing this to how I would operate.
Oh.
And there are times when I want to crawl through the phone, drive to Syracuse or wherever their office is and shake someone and be like, why can't you be different? Why can't you do this differently? So they gave us a survey and they did gave us some information, but basically it turned into we need to know by Friday or there's no deal. And we said, well, do you have another offer? He said, no, we don't have another offer, but we expect to. Said, well, why would you? So we'll make it. Why would you say there's no deal? Well, are you going to punish us? And they said, well, I talked to the owner, which is sort of like used car salesman. I talked to my manager, and they said that, you're just going to have to take it the way it is because we can't wait for you to do your due diligence. Basically what he said. So you want us to spend 6 figures on land without knowing how we can use it? Like, we want to know where we can build. We want to know if we can build down by the water because it's got 100 feet of waterfront. And the more we find out, the more we find that we may not be able to do any of the things we initially talked about. And I'm just comparing sort of their disclosures about things with my obligation and your obligation as licensees of disclosures. And it just brings home the point that this is not easy, even for us. No. This is not easy.
Yeah, but that's some like shitty negotiating tactics.
It's
sorry, I'm cursing.
I mean, I don't want to. We called our hosts, the Airbnb folks, and asked them, can you tell us anything about this company? Because, have you heard anything through the grapevine? Are they legit? And because we really felt like it was a close your eyes and open your mouth or we don't do the deal. And right. That's not how you do it. I, first of all, got an appreciation for the fact that when you're licensed, you have to disclose things, even if they're not your client. If you're not licensed, guess you don't.
Right.
The guy thought that maybe we could, there's a little strip. It's almost like Florida, like a little Florida strip going from the main lot down to the water. And we thought maybe we could put a little gazebo, hut, cottage on there. And what are the setback rules and all of this? And it is like performing your own appendectomy. It is nuts. And I think I just have this nagging feeling that they know all of the rules and they knew we couldn't build on that lot, but not their problem. And you can do your due diligence after you buy it, which is not how it works.
Right.
So the 2 takeaways here for me, first of all, is that this increases my empathy for what the consumer goes through 1,000-fold. And the second thing is, it must be a freaking nightmare to deal with a for sale by owner, because that's what essentially this is. And not only is this a for sale by owner, but it's not like other for sale by owners where they at least have an attorney draw up the contract.
Right.
They don't want to talk to my attorney. They don't want to hear about my attorney. They don't want to hear about anything. Sign it or don't. Go away. Rough one. So when you factor in house, home, family, the stress of large financial transactions, the newness of it all, what's at stake, which is, having a place close to my boy, that really makes you kind of primal. And sometimes, and we know this, when we deal with some clients, we almost don't want to answer the phone when they see them on caller ID because they are so stressed out of their mind. And pressure brings out things in people that they ordinarily wouldn't do, say, be, feel, act. So we really have to remember that the perhaps our most difficult clients, they're just going through their process, man. They're just trying to figure it out as best they can. They don't have it in for you. Don't take it personally. They're just stressed.
Yeah, and then we get into the habits of using the lingo that they don't understand, or just talking in ways. So it's like, yeah, of course. Like, you don't know that? Why wouldn't you know that? Of course
Yeah,
they don't.
acronyms and jargon.
Yeah. Or just expecting that they understand what to expect and what's going to come next. I mean, even down to, reminding buyers to call the electric company. Little things like that, like
presuppositions, things you say, assuming that they know something else that builds on, and they don't. And sometimes we have clients like talk to us and they're like really lost. Can we rewind? What did you mean when you said that? What does that stand for? All of that. And look, I don't want to like impugn this company's business model. We may, look, there's a very good chance we're going to go forward on this transaction, and I don't want to like say bad things or anything like that, but it is their business model, which is, not a brokerage thing, and it's sort of like a different set of rules. Their business model is not one I'm familiar with. So sort of like the fallacy of knowledge.
Yeah.
Like for example, if you're an attorney and because you have a high income, you might think you're a good businessman or woman. Or if you're a really top flight surgeon, but you don't know a damn thing about podiatry or ear, nose, and throat. Right?
Sorry.
So, we work hard, don't we? So,
I haven't even put makeup on today. That's the kind of day. I started with you at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I hope I don't end with you at 7 p.m. But go ahead.
No, you better not. No, I'm going to be in a historic preservation meeting at 7 p.m. tonight. I've got my free work that I do tonight. I've got my nonprofit during the day. my business during the day and my volunteer civic stuff at night. Who runs a nonprofit? All the brokers. Right here. No, who runs a 501c3? Oh, I'm not that. I just don't have it. So, this is like a primal yell for just all of the clients who are like, oh,
yeah.
Like all of the people out there making 5 offers and can't get something accepted. All of the people that bid $75,000 over asking and are told by everybody, congratulations, you got the deal. And then they're like, that's like college tuition that we just spent just so we could get this house. And we still have to sink $100,000 into it to make it the way we want. Well, folks, we get it.
Yeah, but then we, as we act like it's not a big deal. Money's cheap. If you wait, it's only going to be more expensive, blah, blah, blah. But not everybody really understands that concept, having to take the time and explain it and do the math for people. Don't expect that a consumer is going to understand that. I mean, it's just.
Well, it's a bizarre fusion because on the one hand, it is the largest financial event of most people's lives. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, you can't treat it solely like it's an investment and you got to be a bean counter. All right.
I would say almost it shouldn't be an investment if it's where you're going to live. It's a life decision.
Yeah. If you buy a rental, if you buy an investment property, it's an investment. Cap rate, blah, blah, blah. Right. And nobody can describe all that better than you can. But where you're going to live with your family, so many other things factor in besides the dollars and cents. I mean, obviously you have to live within your means, but could we wait 2 years and get a better deal? Yeah, but he's going to be at that school 5 more years. Right. So I want to wait 40% of his tenure there. I want to have something for as much of his time there as possible.
Right.
And there are so many things that go into this. What does my family need? What works for me? What is going to help my personal needs, my lifestyle needs, my family's needs, my children's requirements, school, all of these things that have nothing to do with return on investment.
Which is why we train so heavily on doing a good buyer consultation and a good seller consultation, because it really never is about the money. it really is about so many other things. I'm not saying that money is not important. It's just like the actual trigger points and the motivating factors and the things that will help to move the deal along and get the person into the property that they told you they wanted to be in. You really need to understand their motivations. So, and sometimes they need to be reminded of their own motivations. I mean, I've had sellers just get stuck, like we're arguing over washer and dryers. And I'm like, listen to me. You told me that if you had to spend another winter shoveling, right, that it was going to be really bad, that, that your doctor said it's just not good for you. You can't withstand it anymore. You can end up with permanent damage.
Yeah.
Okay. And yet you're squabbling over a washer and dryer.
Right. What's more important, the washer and dryer or living?
And literally they're like,
living close to your grandchildren.
Yeah, you're right. I think people forget one of the primary roles of a real estate professional is to keep the emotion out of the transaction.
Yeah.
When you're working with a direct buyer, a direct consumer with a for sale by owner or with a company sort of thing, the way that you are, it's all emotion. Those responses are only creating emotional responses for you, period.
It really is. Mm-hmm. We love this property. Yeah. It is nature's sensory gym. We can put a dock down there on the water. We can take my son out in the boat. We can paddle. We can swim. There's all kinds of things we can do. And if these guys would just chill, they'll get what they want. And conversely, I think the dichotomy of this whole thing is that you've got the largest financial event of your life for most people, and return on investment not being the sole criteria here, right? So return on investment is for investment properties. Sustainability is for your primary residence. And what I mean by sustainability is it affordable, and will it raise your quality of life, and will you live within your means? That being said, in 25 years, I have been licensed. Is it 25 years? Yeah, 1996. Holy shit. I was a baby when I got it. I was 28. Anyway, or 27, sorry. 26, whatever I was. Under 30.
What the hell was I saying? Oh.
I don't know. That being said.
I may have sold one house in 24 years that took a loss. One.
You didn't do a lot of short, that you owned.
No, for my clients, and I'm not just taking credit like, I always sold them a house. I'm talking about clients that I didn't even sell them their house. I don't think I've had more than one.
Well, you didn't do a lot of short sales.
No, I always stayed away. So yeah,
right.
I didn't.
I sold.
But that's entirely different. Yeah. It really is. But for the mainstream, there's not very many houses I've ever sold that had to take a huge loss. I did stay away from distressed properties, as you know, on purpose. I went commercial. You went distressed. No, thank you.
I'll take it.
I can't.
Mean, look, the stages of grief, sitting across the table from a guy who paid his mortgage from his savings because he's honorable, seeing his printing business collapse because people don't put stuff on paper the way they used to, having, kind of this millionaire lifestyle go south in the affluent suburbs in a short sale, having some kind of like young punk buy the place and be like the buyer from hell. And then just moving south to teach English at some school and just have a different life the rest of his life. I hope he's okay, but
that's not the real estate value going down. That's just a major,
it's a big life change.
Turn of events, but as far as, I guess more what I mean, as far as like from purchase to sale, that it went down, that's never happened out to me. outside of, short sales and foreclosures, which I never really dealt with. So, but as far as value, and I think I said this the other day, Anthony Lamacchia is the best. He has like all these pretty charts of different major cities, and it shows from, I forget what year to now. And so my fancy chart is, look, ever since I was born, real estate has only gone like this. Now it's done this and this and this and this, but from 1970 to now, it's only gone up.
Yep.
So it's a pretty sure, safe investment regardless. Now that doesn't mean, that you get to cash out whenever you want and it's going to be perfect. There may be some dips in the market in the time that you own that property. But I think in our lifetime, it is proven that real estate is one of the safest investments.
It absolutely is. There's
a lot less
thousands of years of proof, right? I mean, just
and you have control. And I've explained this to you before, like with not interest rates, inflation skyrocketing. Real estate is one of the safest things you can own. Why? Because you have a little control over it. So it may not seem like it. Oh, I have a tenant for 2 more years. But guess what? In 2 years, you can increase that rent. You can, whatever, you have more control and more.
You have property. You possess real property. That is a thing, right? It's like possessing gold, precious metal. It is real. You can hold it in your hand.
Right. Just because some president says or does something stupid, that would never happen in this country.
You're not at the whim of a board of directors that's going to affect the stock price and everything like that.
Exactly. So, it's a lot less volatile and a lot safer.
Well, less true, but it's way more stressful for the average consumer because it's way more infrequent. And sometimes holding their hand is not enough. I think we need to just remember that this is hard on folks. This is hard on folks. It was such a glass of water in the face going through these past 2 weeks. And I'll update you next week on how all this goes and everything like that. But wow, just this double whammy of being my own consumer, dealing directly with kind of this hybrid, a professional seller, a developer, but also a for sale by owner, and no buffer in between.
And you know what? I hate to say this, but I've dealt quite a bit with lake properties, as you know, and I actually have some. That's probably more of what they call a recreation lot.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, part of the problem is if that builder, developer, whatever he is, calls, he's going to get a bad answer. But when a homeowner lives there, I would believe that they'll be a little more flexible. They may not allow or want any permanent structures. But there are so many temporary structures that live like a permanent structure nowadays. It's crazy. They have tents that have built-in porta potties that automatically get rid of the poop.
Yeah.
I
would want the poop to go away.
It disintegrates or something. Seriously. That's a temporary structure and can be put on my recreation lots here.
We can. There's there are a lot of options. We're looking at really long game here.
I want a glamping platform, please. I want like the platform, and then I'll work with Allison. I want like a princess tent and stuff with lights inside and a vanity and like all of that. That's what I want. Okay.
Well, we'll talk about that. I'm all for it. I look forward to a housewarming party there in 30 years.
When you can afford
Gregory walks in with a walker.
That may be all you can afford.
I may need to be
so just get the one that actually evaporates the poo.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't want a porta potty. That's no fun.
Yeah. So just so people understand, we can build on the lot. There's a house site. There's approvals. There's
but not on the lakefront portion.
But the little flag part of it that goes down to the lake. Nah, can't do it. So we got to look at other options.
You guys are lakefront now. It's really hard when you've been lakefront. You get spoiled.
I mean, it's there is. What is it about water? Seriously, what is it about waking up in the morning, looking out at a body of water, or at the end of the day, sitting in front of the water and watching like ducks or fish or turtles? That is just so therapeutic.
It's grounding.
It
like
is
walking barefoot. It's not much different. It's grounding.
It
Connects
is
to the
just,
earth, connects you to the fact that like life goes on. It doesn't revolve about us. Those fish were doing whatever they were doing, regardless of how your day went.
Yeah. No, you look up at the stars and you realize how insignificant your problems are.
Yep.
Right?
Or insignificant. Yep.
Oh, insignificant. Yeah. Was that Freudian? Because I think my problems are more significant than most other people. I don't care about your problems.
I think you said insignificant. I think I just repeated it. But yeah, no, it's true. But it's difficult. And, in a market like this, and you know how I feel about realtors right now with their messaging, they're really literally telling owners, oh my God, even a monkey could sell a house right now. You should definitely list on your, they're saying sold in 3 days, 25 people and So
bad idea.
So it's a terrible idea, but we're doing, a lot of realtors are out there giving that message. And one of the first of all, there's so much going on in this market that people just don't know or understand. And I've talked to our agents about it. Like I had a couple of listings that were a little complicated with pricing because of divorce or this, just couldn't get things. So they were still on the market and longer than other things. And, buyers are out there right now, and I don't want to talk crap about buyers or anybody, but buyers are out there putting offers in on every single property they see pretty much as a placeholder. And then even when they get an accepted offer, it's still a placeholder, and they wait until the house that they like the best, inspections were done, and they'll even do inspections on multiple properties.
That's not, that's selfish. That's bad faith. I
can't get behind yes and no. Unfortunately, in New York State, it's very complicated because you don't have the chance to do that due diligence, and buyers are just getting beat out and beat out and beat out. So it's just tough. But they're not being upfront. So there's that for sale by owners need to worry about. And then you have buyers out there that are like, you know what? I'm tired of my agent. It didn't work. Nothing worked. I'm only calling listing agents from now on.
Yeah.
Right. Which is fine. But, you really aren't going to get somebody who's going to go above and beyond for due diligence for you.
No.
So even in a hot market, it's really smart to have a real estate professional.
Yeah. So even in a sense, we are dealing with the listing agent because we're dealing with, we don't have our own representative talking to their representative. And I got to tell you, it's very raw.
And they don't
even how the sausage is made. I'm sorry, I talked over you. What did you say?
I said, and they don't even want to hear speak to your attorney.
Yeah, they don't.
Technically, if you are not being represented by a real estate professional or by a realtor, then in New York State, your attorney would be your representative, and they're denying you that. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
But then you got to find a real estate attorney. There's no real estate attorney that's going to do all that due diligence for you. It just doesn't happen,
But let me tell you about Larry Angle. He's doing a bang up job for us.
Oh, he's your attorney?
He's specifically a land use attorney.
And
I called him because I thought he's in Rybrook, but I thought, maybe he'd know somebody in Sullivan County. And then he just started talking about all the places in Sullivan County where you got married up there, you got a ticket over here, and so he knew it really well. So as soon as I named the municipality, he went, got the code, told me about the setback rules. It was amazing.
But that's rare, and that's you found the right kind of attorney, because that's the problem. A residential closing attorney.
But isn't that
they're going to do the municipal search and they're going to do all that? But there is no municipal search for raw land. They're going to do the title search, but that's not going to answer all your questions.
Well, our value as professionals is our Rolodex. So why wouldn't I use my Rolodex?
Yeah, absolutely.
The guy is brilliant, as brilliant and a savior, for example, as Laura Brown has been on short sales.
Great.
So it's good to have a guy, and we got a guy, but I don't know. It still doesn't mean we're going to get the place. We'll see.
You're going to get it.
But folks, we know what you're going through. We really do. We get it.
if you need some ideas of what you can do on that waterfront piece, I've only been spending the last year and a half since I've been selling these recreation lots, coming up with ideas. So there's so much, though. It's crazy.
We'll take a trip up there, but wear sturdy shoes because that's a steep hill.
You don't want me to wear? I can't wear these.
No, you're taking them off. Yeah.
Listen, I'm a land and commercial girl. I got, what do you call those, wellies in my car.
Yeah, hey, I didn't make this quote, but I've always appreciated, give a girl the right pair of shoes and she'll take over the world.
That's why I have like 7,500 pairs, just in case.
Just in case. You never know. Yeah, well, I have dress flip-flops and regular flip-flops at this point in the pandemic. So, all right, is that a wrap? Have we
I think so.
whined enough about my
What the hell is that supposed to do Mondays at 3:30? Like, I'm fried.
Yes, but it's good to go on when we're fried and off guard and lucid and fraying at the ends, because then
I cursed twice. Well, suck isn't a curse, is it? Sucks. That's a curse.
You've said bad words. You said some very bad words.
Sorry.
I did not go lower as I usually
do.
do.
Wow. Maybe we should have you live all the time so you'd be on good behavior.
It's the ADD meds, fatigue, and something like that.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. I think it's exciting, and there's lots of great stuff we can do with that lake frontage.
Truly, truly. Okay, Timothy, end it.